A freilichen Chanukah, a happy Chanukah on this first day of Chanukah. May the light of the menorah warm and illuminate your hearts, your souls, and your surroundings, and bring joy to all those that need it and want it, which is all of us. So, we all know one of the most famous questions asked in Chanukah. It's called the $1 million question. We celebrate 8 nights of Chanukah. Why? We light candles for 8 nights because the Jews only found 1 jug of oil that was pure with the seal of the high priest when they recaptured the temple. And it could only last for 1 day, but it lasted for 8. And that's the miracle that we celebrate. But of course, all the commentaries ask, why would we celebrate 8 days? The first day, the oil was there. That was enough to light. So the miracle was only the next 7 days, not the first day. So why do we celebrate 8 days and not 7? So there's many answers. And maybe tomorrow I'll give you another one. But today I wanted to give you a very beautiful and poignant answer that's so powerful and speaks the eternity and the story of the Jewish people. You see, as Jews, we don't just celebrate the miraculous, that which is not natural, that which is beyond the realm of nature, but we also celebrate nature as a miracle. Jews recognize that our very existence, you, I, and everyone else, is a miracle of God. That everything in the world, nature, the beautiful trees, the snow, the rain, the clouds, the sun, the moon, giving birth, celebrating life, although it might be nature, is a miracle from God. And that's why we celebrate the first night of Hanukkah. We celebrate the Jewish eternity, the miracle, that which is us. The miracle, that which is nature. Look at the Greeks, look at the Assyrians, look at the Romans, look at the Canaanites, look at the Egyptians. As they were then, no one survived. No one's here to tell the story. But the Jewish people are eternal. And the Jewish people are here to say a story that happened thousands of years ago. That's why we celebrate the first day. Yes, it was natural to light, but we celebrate that nature because that in itself is a miracle also. It's an important message for us to learn as we celebrate Hanukkah and to remember, because we live in a world that's dark, that's painful, it's full of hate, that's full of bigotry. But we have to remember that the first light of Hanukkah teaches us to celebrate the nature of life, to celebrate the survival of the Jewish people, because that's the greatest miracle. Last night in Nuremberg, Germany, the Chabad rabbi, my colleague, Rabbi Eli Chitrik, kindled a remarkable menorah, a golden menorah in the temple in Nuremberg, which has a tremendous story which speaks about the survival of the Jewish people. 1938, Kristallnacht, when the Germans looted and burned and desecrated so many Jewish shops and shuls, big and beautiful. They looted it, they burned it, they killed, they maimed. One of the biggest shuls then was the Adat Yisrael shul, which was in Nuremberg. Adat Yisrael means the community of the Jewish people. It was a gorgeous shul, a big shul. And the Germans looted it and they put it on fire. And while that happened, a 10-year-old boy ran in to the shul and stole a golden menorah. He came home and his father beat him and screamed at him, "Go give it back." But by the time things evolved, the shul was burned down, the Jews had either been sent away or ran away, and there was no one to return it. 6 months ago, Rabbi Eli Chitrik received in the mail, he is the Chabad rabbi in Nuremberg now, with a new shul. He received in the mail this menorah with a note from a guy. This guy who sent him the note was a nephew of the 10-year-old who stole this menorah, telling him the story and telling him how the father beat him and told him to give it back, but he never did. And it stayed with the family. He said, but this summer he went and he traveled to Switzerland and he met a Jewish family whose name was Weiss. And they were from Nuremberg. And they told him about what happened during Kristallnacht and to the family and to the Jews of Nuremberg and how much they suffered. And this guy felt guilty. He remembered about the menorah. And he took the menorah and he said, I'm going to return it to the shul in Nuremberg, to the Jewish community, which he did, with that note. And last night, for the first time, 84 years after they were burning the shuls in Nuremberg, something else was burning. The beautiful menorah that survived the 84 years. The Nazis aren't here. Hitler's not here anymore. But the Jewish people continue to light and celebrate the miracle of nature, the miracle of us. If it's in Boston, if it's in New York, if it's in Paris, if it's in Jerusalem, if it's in China, if it's in Russia or Ukraine, or even in Nuremberg, we continue lighting that candle and telling the story of the survival of the Jewish people, celebrating the first night of Hanukkah and the nature, which is the greatest miracle. God bless you. Happy Hanukkah, and see you tomorrow.